Good morning, good afternoon, good evening or good night wherever you are. Welcome back on iKeysRacing. This is Marco from Monza, but especially from the virtual circuit, the Linas-Montlhéry, for this tentative to make a tribute, more or less, to the Tour de France, or 1000 kilometers of Paris. Something very old in history, will be quite a particular and I think exciting circuit, never seen before here. But because I'm already working for 2024, there are some bits that will occur during this current year, but you will find also in the next iKeysRacing season. That will be the third serious year together on this channel community that has anyway what is a community space made with polls. So please, I ask for your help to find out which will be for the next appointment of the WEC 2015 season and the next appointment of the sports car 100 minutes theme episode, which car will be driven, but you choose to select which car will be driven, and episode by episode we will run anyway all the cars involved in those two themes, but also it will be your choice to choose which car will be, and I will drive for you the majority, the democratic choice. We will eliminate then car by car after those beauties will be driven by us episode by episode, and at the end I think we will include also this around the world in 24 hours theme, type of car, category by category choice for the next second half of the season, because this race will cut into basically a full year season, approaching at this point after this race the completed first half of this theme. But I don't want to talk too much. Let's go on track to qualify the car of today, that maybe from the cover you have seen already, which will be a tiny GT Alpine A110, very sportive and maybe not very famous road racing version used, because maybe was more famous as a rally car, I think, or at least this is the perception we had here in Italy. But no more Italian chatting too long. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to be again once more with you. I hope you stay very well, and thank you, especially saying also Dankeschön, arigato, muchas gracias, obrigado, merci beaucoup, and grazie for your votes, your likes, your subscriptions. I think that maybe we will jump the 100 petrol heads and racing enthusiasts involved here in this, I hope, nice and full of details community. You are more than welcome, regardless if you are an old or a new recent subscriber. I hope you will always find something interesting and maybe entertaining a bit on our iKeysRacing community, and the more we advance, the more I hope will be less Marco and more you all out there choosing what this channel will do. Anyway, that's it. See you on track. So directly back to our timing area, we will run an accelerated time for a couple of seconds, just to have, let's say, 30 minutes, 25 maybe, of cars running. You will notice long lap times, even if they are scored by prototypes and sports, respectively 3 liters, 5 liters. It's a, let's stop here maybe. It's a beautiful racetrack. You will see then in the cockpit of the Alpine A110 what will be very driven, long straights, but maybe the power to weight ratio between 3 liters prototypes and 5 liters sports maybe will favor a bit the prototypes. for a better, I would say, combination of power and weight. As you may already have understood, we will be a Group 4 car in this 1966 edition of the track. This venue has been used between sports car, touring cars, grand touring cars, motorcycles, in different ways, in different years. I mean, never had a proper positioning in the calendar. Also Formula 2 raced here. So really, in general, what I want to say is, to me it is a gem from a racetrack point of view. Obviously raced with a small Group 3, not 4, sorry, Alpine A110. It is not the best car to be featured here, so today will be more almost a talk and drive and relaxed attitude, but nonetheless to me was absolutely mandatory to show you also this venue. To race into this beauty, also the car setup for this Alpine is very basic and easy, I would say. This is the brake bias, this is differential. I've tried 50%, half blocked, half free during offline practice. We will see if it will be a good choice or not. We will have just historic cars, tires. So the softer compound is the 970 CR65 from Dunlop. The difference is the 970 is soft, the 184 is a medium compound, almost going into the hard area. Will be a all-weather basically compound, usable here. From the advanced setup point of view, there's nothing more you can do with the stiffness, so the car will roll a bit, and it is a good thing. I mean it will be very fun to drive. Maybe just for the qualification I will try a single tentative to stiff a bit the rear end by really one touch, not more. But the car has limited possibilities, like in GT Legends, I would say. And so this is the page 2. That's it. I just fixed the 5th gear to run around 220 kilometers per hour. That will be 150 miles per hour, not more. The car is very tiny, underpowered, and what else? Let's try this figure, more aggressive for the qualification, then we will see what will happen during the race. Oh yes, so this is our tiny Alpine A110 that is not so different from the version of the Rally of Monte Carlo, or anyway many other rally appointments in the 60s and the 70s, but it is what we have today. So a tiny 1.3 liters engine, and we will talk for 1 hour, maybe a bit more than usual. I hope for you not. We will not have a radio communication with the engineer because there is a sort of bug for this car or this track where the engineer continues to say cool brakes 10 times for every minute. So I just wanted to have possibly a pleasant way to propose you the race of today. Car selection will be seen during the grid parade. That will be very long because it is just for, sorry, cold tires. So while I'm warming up tires, we are already seeing a portion of the track, absolutely old manner style, absolutely crazy, I would say. Nowadays would be, I think, almost impossible to race properly here. But the BPR Global GT Series, for example, raced here in 1994 in the first season. And so, despite being dangerous, especially at high speed, despite being a sort of hybrid between an oval that you can see here on the right, attached to a more driven part, it for sure allows to test your car properly, because you have all the conditions possible: high speed, low speed, chicanes, hairpins, great radius or big radius corners. Then modern needs did bring, as you can see, many chicanes, closing what was originally an intended banked oval like Indianapolis, Le Mans, or sorry, Le Mans, like Indianapolis I wanted to say, or Monza, when until 1960 used what was banked oval built inside the usual road version of the track. And so to me, Linas-Montlhéry deserves a place in not only in history but also in modern times, at least while simulating something. And what else? We will try to beat Mr. Colomb that ran at 316 with the same car. I will keep this habit forever, to always have the same car as a benchmark where possible. Still, I do not have mastered yet the track, so today is really a combination of improvising a bit what I remember after a few laps and what is a basic car setup, for what I see anyway, reliable and manageable. We will race here for 1 hour. Originally there were many possibilities for this track to be used in different configurations or layouts, different types of need, let me say, and was in a way a venue honestly capable to offer everything to the automotive industry, for sure, but also to the racing environment, where you anyway need to test your car in different scenarios. Ooh, a bit long, so this lap maybe will be not a good one. We will battle, as said, with Mr. Colomb. It will be our benchmark, and we will try possibly to make Alpine score at least 1 point, given that we are not equipped with a car to battle the BMWs or the Alpha GTA. I mean, there are much better cars here today. But this track will come back on iKeysRacing channel next year, because I would take the opportunity of almost the half of the year to already think to what will be the skeleton for next year. I can't wait for it, and I hope you will enjoy it in a more, I would say, deep quality version regarding golden eras of motorsport. Anyway, talking about the car of today, the Alpine is very agile, very light, especially when you start to oversteer with the rear. You immediately actually feel the front end becoming light or lighter. Sorry for the flickering of lights, some bugs here and there for sure. Anyway, the track with GT group, more than GT, maybe just touring car, group 4-3 is affordable also, even if I did just few laps before recording this episode. Obviously, as you can see, when you start to give too much confidence, this is the result. And as you can see, a soft touch starts to break suspension, so I hope to not screw up the race on Sunday at least, but you immediately lose grip and drivability. Luckily we did 3 minutes 10 seconds, so we actually did beat our teammate by 6 seconds. Not bad, and maybe we have a bit of advantage compared to heavier Grand Tourers cars. Who knows? So at the end of the race, if we will consume and use less fuel, less tires, maybe yes, maybe no. Best lap time despite the crash with the barriers and the suspension broken. Let's try just another lap. I wanted just to finish mainly 2 matters. The first one is about this track, absolutely lovely, and I'm happy that the GT Legends conversion seems to work fine also with GTR2 Power and Glory. The Alpine, despite being more famous as a rally car, I would say it's not a bad car to be driven as a normal tourer car. If I don't screw up. So now the car should be dead. Yes, 0% reliability, so we are done. So we can go back to the main menu, maybe accelerate the lap time, but I would anyway keep what is the car setup. Much better with a more stiffer rear end. And so, as said, we did beat our benchmark by, I would say, almost 6 seconds. The battle will be against the Alfa Romeo Giulia, a bit maybe with the Porsche's 914 or 914, but they are quite strong. Should be easy to beat the Triumph TR4 and maybe the Porsche 911. Obviously we are underpowered compared to a Ford Capri, but in the long term maybe we can say our way to be the interpreters of this car on this particular venue. While at the top, as you can see, maybe it was already too much anticipated, but looking at the offline practice, I did see that sports 5 liters car were close to beat 3 liters prototypes, but they are very close each other. So we will see anyway what will happen. We can start to save the first session, go to the second, again accelerate the lap time, the garage will say that we will keep what we have seen, but I already want to prepare the race, so just making a quick calculation. With the 80 liters we will cover 40 minutes out of 1 hour, 60 minutes. So if you don't mind, I would try anyway to see 40 minutes, maybe could become 1 full hour. Who knows if the consumption will be accordingly the same way or not. Tire wearing was not a drama for what I've seen, so maybe then we can load just 52 liters for added 26 minutes, just to have a buffer. 30 minutes if tires will go away, or we will do the first long part and then we will stop after 14 laps to do then just 9 laps. I would go for the softer version of tires, as said before, with the tires guide available on Power & Glory. This car comes from Power & Glory. We are choosing the softer version of the two compounds available. Let's go back for the last 5 minutes on the time schedule about racing qualification. Let's see, the Porsche 911 went, yes, not so far, the 911 ST 2.5 liters. So let's put a sort of challenge. We have an Alpine Group 3 A110 with an engine of 1.3 liters, so already from a pure speed point of view battling the Triumphs, so we must arrive in front of the Triumphs. Also, we did beat the single Alfa Romeo Giulia 2000 GTAM, not bad, we are lighter and powerful enough compared to the Giulia. We are very close to the Porsche 911 ST 2.5, so we can maybe take this car as a benchmark for the end of the race, but still, maybe managing better tires and fuel, who knows if we will stop just once instead of the De Tomaso Pantera, that maybe is already well known to be a car that drinks very much, and so maybe they will have 2 stops. And my target, to be fair, would be to catch around P25 at the end, considering also retirements, but possibly beat at least one Porsche 914 that is similar, let me say, to our Alpine from a power to weight ratio. So let's have a P25 at the end of the race. We are not going to beat the Ford Capri 2600. We are not going to beat the Ford GT40 or the other De Tomaso Pantera quicker with the Boss engine instead of the stock one, and so and so. At least the cars running around 3 minutes 5 seconds should be beatable at the end of the next 60 minutes race. Talking about the type of race we are going to face, apart from Friday practice to prepare the car setup, the Saturday qualifying session, don't read here, there's a mistake I think in the GDB file, but the race will be of 1 hour, simulating 6 times more, with a changeable condition. A race start at 12 o'clock PM, a rolling start, 35 contenders, 100% strength and aggression real. That's it. Yes, but unluckily re-happened the bug of GTR here. So we have Ivar Ludwig with a Ford Escort 2600, I don't remember, on pole position. Birrelborg with a Capri 2600, I'm sure of this. Han with the Porsche 914. Chassol with the Sonauto version 4th. 5th, the 911 ST 2.5 liters. Then Moskios with the Alfa Romeo Giulia GT 2000. P7 for Marcus with the Triumph. Then Müller Van Lennep Porsche 2.8 liters RSR. Gallish Tommelen prototype 3 liters Alfa Romeo T33. Bell Peterson Ferrari 512 coda lunga, 512S coda lunga, long tail. Lola T70, Armonin, Lennet, Van Lennet P12 with the Porsche 917K, Courage d'Adamic P13, Alfa Romeo T33, X Schetti P14 with the other Ferrari 512S, then the first of the Matras, the Paillage Bull, Rindt Siffert 917K John Wire Automotive P16, Orms Prophet Lola T70, Brabham Sauvert P18 Matra MS 650, Joachim Bonnier Di Lorenzo with the last Lola T70, P19, P20 for Gerhard Larousse on the Porsche 908, with the 910 Harriet Wick, or vice versa. This is the 908, this is the 910, I don't remember, sorry. Jadr Matra, Beltois per Storolo, Klaus Ludwig with the Ford Capri RS 3100, Chevron B16, Kines Skates P24, Joysten Muir BMW, 12 valves, 6 cylinders in line, P25, Hesemann Quest with the 24 valves, Enver Edges with the Healey Repco, then Hux with the Porsche RSR 3 liters, Helwood Ops for GT40, Kingley Schmidt Chevron B16, X Oliver for GT40, Chassel Vinatier, De Tomaso Pantera Boss Prepared Engine P32, De Prejac with the stock version. 35th is Bernard Collin, 36, Dick Stock is the last driver of today. So we can go back to the start-finish line and enjoy 1 hour race at Linas-Montlhéry. Okay, it's green flag, strangely enough, before the start-finish line, because we were amassed in a sometimes a single file, sometimes double file method. So we are taking advantage of a P16 possibly that is not our correct position, but the race director did give the green flag. Obviously the bug of creating slow GT cars in front and prototypes in the back luckily required a sort of toll. So now we are P30, P28, and we will lose obviously correctly positions against the quickest car, but who cares, it's normal like this and should have been so since the beginning. Oof. So let's see how the race will develop. Okay, jump past safely. As you can see, we have a bit of advantage that I'm losing immediately. Parking the car, I don't know where, but that's it. Sorry. Cold tires, I made my usual stupid, silly mistake of lack of patience. So back to pit 34 in front of, no, 35 in front of our teammate, Mr. Colombo, Monsieur Colombo. So more or less is like where we should have started. Now let's try to recatch in 57 minutes left some contenders. We will do maybe 20 laps overall, not more. And let's see if we can take advantage of our agility and lightness, especially in the most driven part of the track, like here. Yes, as you can see, the Porsche 2.5 liters, it has almost the double of our engine capacity, engine displacement, engine what do you call it, volume. Lost a bit being heavier despite being more powerful. So our first lap is 3 minutes 26 seconds, 0.1, but we started from a messed up starting field. But let's stay in the draft of the Porsche. It will be a race, I think, more about talk and drive, sorry for you, I apologize, than a pure charge from the back. Top speed similar to the Porsche 911. No, Marco, no. Stupid. Too aggressive. Believe me, after the first jump, it's absolutely mandatory to be very cautious. The car becomes very light at the front end and very unstable, being very light, and no aerodynamics involved, I mean, apart from the body shape. Anyway, as you can see, a very dangerous track that didn't have safety measures in this 66 version. Apart for some guardrails. Concrete walls. And a banked big last corner coming from the oval section. Without protections outside, so if you happen to race outside this banked area, you died exiting the banked section. Okay, 3 minutes 12 seconds despite the mistake and the time loss. So let's try to regroup as soon as possible. Sorry. Must avoid to jump here to not lose the racing line, but it's not easy. The force feedback gives you a proper indication, but still it's not a modern hypercar or formula car. The precision of driving is not the one of a modern race car. Bit of relax, I can speak a bit. This Linas-Montlhéry is and was a gem that I wanted to have with us. Will come back in 2 versions next year. A few days ago I was working to some ideas for the next iKeysRacing Community Channel 2024 season. One of these is trying to combine more races, more historic facts, more quality content to race together and enjoy the thrill of competition, of racing, of passes, of strategies. Let's pass also Mr. Marcus. The Triumph. Very dangerous. P31. Let's try to catch also Del Bar van der something. Should be the Porsche 2.5 liters ST version. And so to combine all the beautiful things of motor racing, historically speaking, I needed to do a step forward from a phase of study and preparation point of view. I have discovered many new and good mods on the web. I was surfing and searching in the last days. I have combined many ideas coming from the real history of motorsport. How strong is this car in handling? Crazy. At least we have a bit of advantage over the Alfa Romeo of Moscow's, but we have a top speed much better than the one we have. So let's try to drive very clean, very accurate. And so the major thing would be going back to the future of iKeysRacing next year, is having more quality, more historic points of accuracy, trying to maybe in the next year to be more complete, if I can say so, from a motorsport point of view. After the victory in the Racing League at the Texas Motor Speedway last week or 2 weeks ago, I hope to improve the IRL oval concept, running also the following season, the 1999, that if I'm not wrong was the first with kart and champ car, let me say, teams coming to IRL. I want to continue and finish the We Are the Champions theme with F1 Challenge. Running and racing all the most important seasons of F1, because at least from a history point of view has something still to be said, or to be remembered, compared to the lack of content of today, of nowadays. This is about formulas, because instead the majority of my passion runs about sports car prototypes, historic big races, historic venues. And the more I scout the web, the more I discover things from race department, from e-sport, or albeit burde, albeit I will never learn to pronounce it correctly, albeit tube. Sorry, I apologize with the founders of the website, but if I don't see it written, my German language is absolutely a full deficit. The only one to see at the last moment a prototype coming, and so the more I scout, the more I discover, the more ideas tend to come to my mind. So there's a prototype to let go, then we will take advantage, not really, of the next session. Come on, baby. I've lost a lot of time. I was thinking to follow the prototype, but they are struggling a lot also against Porsches and the Tomasos. Tommaso that is pitting now. Oh, the Alfa Romeo did crash with the safety car. Or against what? I've lost the image in the mirror, sorry. We don't have enough top speed to get the Porsche, but they have lost quite a bit while cornering. They were losing the 911. Yes, this section, if I'm not wrong, in 94 during the BPR season was removed. Marco, what are you doing? Okay, we don't go, I go. So 9 seconds to get back to the Porsche. Light steering wheel, okay, we go. Broken car, no, luckily. Tires are all more or less okay. That's gone. 9 laps of coverage. And so for the 2024 full year, I would add many themes. New themes, or let's say expanded matters like we've seen today, but much more accurate, much more historically, if you can tell me, if you let me say, sorry. Recreating a bit more, much better. If not complete historic facts and historic seasons, more more immersion into racing and the life of drivers, engineers, designers, mechanics, sponsors, and so on. Go. I didn't trust the Matra doing differently from the Alfa Romeo. I didn't want to be cocked up into a mess. I told you there was something happening here. The Porsche finally lost the momentum and the control, and behind there is a crash with the chevron. Well, it was a Porsche 908, 910, don't remember the model, sorry, but luckily it came back. So sometimes karma, when you are full of patience, helps you, because if we were at full speed in that moment we would have crashed together. with the prototypes and the Porsche. While Klaus Ludwig P24 did not finish, another victim of today's race, also I've never took the time to say that I've stopped to produce tributes to drivers that luckily are not anymore with us, because even if the most successful video tribute I initially made 1 year and a half ago, the Tom Price English version tribute, did more than 3000k views, I've noticed from Google Analytics and YouTube Analytics specific that the most clicked moment, the most viewed and reviewed moment of the video is the moment of the crash, where honestly I was just using original pictures to explain what happened and the tragic reason behind the death of Tom Price, unluckily. And instead people went there to have a look to the moment of the most tragic part of the crash. We are passing Hanna. No. Yes. So why one lap of a disadvantage? Who knows? So honestly, I can accept to have 3000k views less for a tragic moment that is not marketing for our iKeysRacing community. But it was just a tentative to explain as much possible in a best way what happened back when Tom Price died, and when the graphic registered the spike, especially viewed multiple times on the moment of the death of Tom. In some way that stopped me to produce video tributes, because if for the majority of people, not us maybe, but the majority of people is about watching the moment of the death of someone, not the concept itself, but really the way like someone died, to me is something that I can get rid, I can give up on it, and okay, we will have as a community less viewership, but I don't want to use the death of someone to increase the number of viewership of clickbait or whatever. I don't care. I don't want. So honestly, it's okay to not do any more tributes, especially to drivers that passed away and that they have left, sorry, a not deletable trace. But I don't want that trace to be mismatched with the starving attitude of some people watching a tribute just for, especially for the tragic pictures or the tragic way that marked the end of a life. So sorry, I will substitute for sure that particular theme with something else, and as you have seen, I've stopped to do tributes to drivers because every video, even with few viewership, has the spike when pictures of the way someone died come up. Sorry, but in the respect of families and friends, close and people that were close to those drivers, honestly, will not happen on this channel to take advantage of the death of someone. Sorry, it was 1 year and a half I should have said this, because I'm more than happy if tributing something makes more interest, but not in this way. Sorry. Repassed by Han, so I've lost a bit of the momentum. I was really touched and distracted by the explanation that maybe I should have said and reported much earlier, sorry, sooner to you all. That did come to my mind just in the last days when I was pre-planning what and how will be iKeysRacing channel community in 2024. So while I will try to catch again and pass the Porsche 914, next year would be tough from a production point of view, more for the quality than for the number of videos uploaded. Try this, but now I will have to brake earlier than the Porsche. Let's try internally, yes. Let's get a bit of momentum and then we will maybe try to run away, even if the Porsche has more raw power and more top speed than our tiny Alpine. Okay, 10 seconds from Linas-Montlhéry, Skates, I don't know the name. Let's see if we can catch another car, because we are just P25 and it is the minimum target for today. Another turn of overlapping action from the prototypes. I've been passed by a Lola T70 and a Porsche 917K. Sorry guys, sorry. Suspension broken. Damn it. Touches big like this are always almost terminal here. Shouldn't be the problem, the front left suspension, but we will see at high speed what will happen. So now we'll have to be more precise from a racing line point of view and be ready to brake the car just in case the grip should go away. Not here maybe, but in the next passages, yes, the next corners. If the car will then brake straight and will not start to have some strange behavior. Okay, here seems okay. Yes, not bad, the left. Yes, no. Also at low speed is still drivable, luckily. Also while cornering right, that is the moment where the front left suspension, currently broken, should suffer more. I'm not sure anyway that Linas skates will be catchable. We will have to rely on more retirements here and there. Okay, Mr. Hux P20 in grey now did not finish. It's the Porsche RSR 3 liters, Porsche 911. So a direct contender for our classification of today. Also approaching to overlap one of the two Triumphs. Not bad. Four seconds gained on Kingsley Schmidt. And I've lost, maybe they stopped the car we were following at 20 seconds. Whatever. Yes, they are pitting. Linas skates are pitting. We will have to pit because we have 15 minutes of coverage of fuel, but not enough to finish the race, especially if I screw up like this. My goodness. Like a rally driver, at least I've been luckily capable to brake the car with a spin. Sorry, brake the car, stop the car with a spin. A lot of time lost, but much better than I did not finish. I don't want to see the replay because it would be another heart attack. The two BMWs very close in performance today, very close also in the ranking, I suppose. Still slower than us exiting the chicanes, then they go away. On a race in Monte Carlo with this car would be an easy victory, I think, or a podium. And both to the pit. Quite a team strategy. Okay, gain back on the Porsche 914 of Mr. Han. And so to anticipate a bit, the 2024 will be IRL 99 season. We will complete, I think, the We Are the Champions F1 challenge. Road to race all the world champions. Until 2023 season at this point, because the update will arrive for sure. Not bad. Resist, resist, resist. We are unlapping ourselves against Mr. I don't know. We will introduce 1950s, 60s. What are we doing here? No way. That was Bell Peterson or X-Sket. Tempted to not stop. 4 laps of coverage. 14 minutes of race will be 5 laps. Can crawl to the end. Even with a broken suspension. Broken or to be fixed. Let's see if changing gears at 6000 RPM will affect a bit the fuel consumption. We just need 1 lap more. Nothing more. We could make it. We lift here. Stay around 200 kilometers per hour, running slightly above 6000 RPM. 4 laps to go now, more or less, from a minute point of view. Sorry, compared to minutes. Three minutes per lap. Maybe we will need just 1 lap or 2 laps of crawling, and then we will unleash the power. Sorry. We will lose Han for sure. But even if Hine Skites will catch us, at least we'll be at P25 as planned originally. Okay, now it's 3 minutes to go. Sorry, 3 laps to go, and we have 3 laps in the tank. So it is working, but we are losing time obviously. And at this point Hines skates will catch us. But also I would say Chasseur-Vin something will not catch us with 1 minute of gap we built up despite crashes and mistakes. Here they go. It's a prototype anyway. 2 laps and half to go. Ish. Han did the pit now, did stop now. So we will still have a bit of advantage when they will come out. We can do it. I'm trying to replicate the tentative at the Sebring 12 hours reduced to 2 hours of the first season of this theme around the world in 24 hours, when we crawled almost to the end with the Corvette GTP. But I did not succeed. For maybe half a kilometer, I don't remember. Okay, 40 seconds to manage with Han and 48 with Chasseul. We can do it. We can lose 20 seconds per lap. I know that sounds like watching someone like my grandfather or my grandmother driving a Porsche or a Formula 1 car at the minimum level of acceptance before the car turns off. But this is another way to manage fuel consumption. Obviously here makes not a lot of sense thought in 1 hour race, but when you race 6, 12, 24 hours and distances between drivers and cars are far more stretched, is what you can do actually. Slow down as much as possible, lose an amount of time compatible with the advantage that you still have against someone else that is following you. Here is exacerbated, so you can use high gears, accelerate smoothly, not full throttle, lift before braking with more anticipation. Now Arnaud Mille with the Lola T70 are leading the race, but they are pitting now, so I do not see who is the second car following. In 2 minutes the race will be technically over. So I cannot lose 2 minutes to reach the end, because I still have 1 minute of time before the start-finish line, but I don't have another minute, but just 37 seconds from who is following. So another lap will be mandatory, possibly without mistakes, plural. Now Chassol 28. Okay, last lap now, because whatever will happen, this is the last lap for us, because I think that the leader, Courage de Adamic with the Alfa Romeo, will cross the line now or after the end of the time. Will be okay. Chassol doing something pitting now. Mr. Han with the Porsche 914, 27 seconds. If we need, we still have 12 liters to unleash all the power. And maybe trying to brake accordingly. So saying braking accordingly. To the layout of the track. So Courage de Adamic is winning. Fine. All the others are going to cross the start-finish line and the race will be over. We still have 17 seconds of advantage over Mr. Han in our P24, but we can go full throttle now just to avoid to arrive too close on each other. But another aspect that finally came to life in this game is sometimes you obtain the same result without pitting, just maximizing the resources of the car. So at the end we had a one pit stop strategy that we luckily had to forget. Obviously in a less exciting manner, instead of running like hell, but because all the previous times I did run like hell, at the end I didn't achieve what I was planning. This time I did vice versa against myself. Maybe I'm becoming too old, I don't know, but the P25 possibly desired is a P24. It becomes also a P23 because Müller van Lennep retired at the last moment. So nothing better than this, I would say. And so we have Courage de Adamic winning the prototype 3 liters Alfa Romeo. Second is Rindt Siffert with the 5 liters Sport Porsche 917K. Gallish Tommelen, position number 3, the other Alfa Romeo. Bell Peterson 4th, the Ferrari 512S. 5th, Arnaud Mille Lola T70 Mark III. 6th, Beltuaper Scarolo with the Matrassi car. 7th, X Schetti with the other Ferrari. 8th is Harriod Wiki Porsche 907 Langheck Longtail 2.5 liters. 9th is the other 917 Porsche of Arens Van Lennep, sorry. 10th, Orms Prophet with the other Lola T70. If we try to get the GT category, Higher Ludwig Ford Escort RS 1600 is the Castrol sponsored we have seen. That was mismatching with the Capri 2600. Second, the 12 valves BMW 3 liters CSL of Eseman Kester. P3 for X Oliver Ford GT40. P4 is the other BMW. Both are 12 valves. There isn't here the 24 valves and the 12 valves. I'm sorry. I had to maybe make a balance of performance for the BMW, and I did it back for the Reims 12 hours race. P5 is P5 Halewood Ops with the other Ford GT40. 6th, Ford Capri or Capri RS 2600. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 we are as with the Alpine. 7th, Han with the Porsche 914. 8th, the 911 Carrera RSR 2.8, that was the Martini Porsche Racing, yes. Sorry, we are 7th, not 6th. 8th, the Porsche 914. 9th, the Porsche 911 Carrera Martini. 10th, the other Porsche 911 ST 2.5 liters. I wanted also to have a look to the best lap times, but we will be not in the best part of the classification for group 2, 3 and 4. Yes, definitely slow, but at least I would say 3 minutes or 6 at the level of the qualification, and still 11 seconds quicker than our teammate. Not bad. And what else? I wanted to see if there are how many pits here. Just one for the Alfa Romeo. Let's see then what was the level of pit stop, for example, Mr. Robert Hahn. He stopped twice, lap 8, lap 16. Let me see also. You can jump to the hellos and ciao ciao if you are going to be bored by this. For example, the Müller Van Lennep. No, they did not finish. The other Porsche 911. How many pit? Just one. And for example, the De Tomaso Pantera stock that we even overlapped, I fear did 2 pit stops after 6 laps and after 15 laps. So not stopping today was definitely a good thing. So is this the way we, not easily, but we get a P7 for the Alpine? Will help the classification of the French manufacturer. So what else to say? Thank you very much for watching. Arigato. Muchas gracias. Obrigado. Grazie. Merci beaucoup. Dankeschön. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to race also in a different way. A bit of talk and drive, even if I'm not so strong with talk and drive. And I wanted to anticipate you a bit of things, but maybe I will do it in the future, in the next episode. And I just remember you the poll in the iKeysRacing community page we all have here, where you can vote still for 2 themes, WEC 2015 and Sports Car 100 minutes, which will be the car we will drive in the next episode. The same will happen for Around the World in 24 hours, because from the next appointment, that should be Spa or Brands Hatch, I don't remember, you will decide which car between prototypes will be driven. And I want to expand anyway this procedure, this activity more and more, because I do want you to be involved as much as possible in the definition of iKeysRacing channel community. It is not mine, is for us, passionate petrol heads, enthusiasts of motorsport, racing games and so on, and step by step we will continue to decide together what to drive in the every episode coming. Obviously I will take it with a bit of early, well pre-planned timing, just to be sure to give you enough time to vote and to decide. Anyway, that's it for the moment. We'll follow the classification updated by manufacturers. Thank you very much again. Stay very well, stay into keen racing, and see you very soon on iKeysRacing channel. Bye bye, see you very soon also for a lot of newness, and best wishes to you and to your beloved. From Monza, from Marco, from Linas-Montlhéry. Ciao, stay very well, good night, bye. Here in Italy it's 1:30 AM. I go to sleep because tomorrow I have to do my daily job that is not running iKeysRacing channel, unfortunately. Stay very well. Ciao, bye bye.